And then another factor, more gentle thinking, very good for this body. Rough thinking, agitated mind, very bad for this body. So these are the reasons why I describe human nature is gentle, more compassionate. But then, there are I think out of 6 billion, there is no option to inspire. Majority, I think, kindness, I think means of generous people, taking care, like old people, also taking care, and sick people, taking care. So that's the majority, big portion. But we do not consider violence because we take for granted that if violence by handle people, it becomes always stuck in our mind. So it becomes difficult. But basically, I think majority is majority. I think with human nature in general. That's my opinion. If my point is wrong, then finally it proves it's wrong, then I have to accept that. Then I will change my view. Still, my visit to I myself that, but since that I defeat it by reasonable